It's not anger. It's love.
This week is a little dynamic. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you're watching this. My name is Brandon Aries, and welcome to The Sanctuary. I really wanted to hate this movie so badly. Problem is, there are parts of it that I like, parts of it that I hate, and there are parts of it that are kind of growing on me as a modern rendition. Just because we are not in The Sanctuary does not mean that we do not have a slate. So without further ado, let's talk movie. And this week, The Crow. Let me start this how I originally wanted to. Yes! Come on, bro.
Why are we still doing remakes?
Why can't we do an original idea anymore? This is nothing like the original. The original transcends all other sequels. Bro, chill out. Nobody will ever step up to the level that Brandon Lee brought as The Crow, as Eric Draven. Now that I got some of that out, let's take a step back. If you're going into this movie thinking that you're gonna see a modern rehashing of the original, you're sorely mistaken. In this one, there's a lot more of Eric and Shelley. I didn't necessarily mind it, but I just didn't care for the genuine connection that they had. At the same time, though, love is different for everybody, and I didn't care for Eric and Shelley's relationship. You're broken, I'm broken, let's get out of prison together. What? I don't know why, it's like they gave the CW permission to make more movies, and this time they chose the property of The Crow. I didn't understand the opening scene, but then again, there are scenes throughout the entire movie I did not understand why they were there. Whew, this is kind of heavy. The opening, you see Eric as a kid, and in all the other ones, that's not really a thing. So in my mind, why is that there? When Eric finally crosses over to the land of the dead, or realm of the dead, however you want to call it, he's basically in this like limbo in between Crow space. Not to bring up the CW again, but it is giving Speed Force CW vibes. Eric, you're the strongest Crow alive. We are the Crow. The original one used the Crow a lot more. It was like the eyes and the ears for Eric. And here it's just kind of like a, don't worry audience, I'm watching just as you are. I think it takes an approach that's too literal for this movie. We obviously know that he killed it as Pennywise, and he's been doing a lot of different roles like Boy Kills World and Barbarian. To me, it's just hard seeing past Brandon Lee, because to me, he's like the definitive person that was able to encapsulate the Crow so well. There was a close second with Jason Momoa, but then that got scrapped. And then they were thinking about Luke Evans, and then we finally got to Bill Skarsgård. That first impression, I was like, but he did better than I thought. Dude, look at this. Makeshift lavalier. Another thing that I wasn't a fan of when it came to the new film was that you wait over an hour to get the Crow. I understand he's got to learn like what his new purpose now, but over an hour? Mind you, this movie without the credits is about an hour 40. So you have a little over an hour, but then you get like 10 to 15 minutes of just the Crow. It didn't really feel like the buildup was even worth it. It was just like a glorified killing montage for like 10 minutes and then it's over. I will say though, the transformation into the Crow kind of gives a new explanation in terms of his makeup, which is different than the original, as it was a little more symbolic in a different way. So the Crow's a devilish superhero. I felt like I had to sit with this ending for about a good couple minutes. Not because it threw me for a whirl or anything like that. It's because this whole telling of this story was over. The moral of this discussion is that this movie is a bad movie. What I will give props to is that it still preserves Brandon Lee's original legacy, and it gives us a new modern telling of this type of story. Things are loosely based from the original Crow story, but it's a new way of telling it. That's something I think you should know before going into the theater. Don't expect a beat for beat modern rendition of the 1994 Crow. Don't go into the movie theater asking, "Where are the 9 Inch Nails? They keep calling me." As sad as I was that wasn't in here, it's not happening. The one thing I'm gonna ask is that you keep an open mind. As hard as that is for such a cult classic like The Crow, I hear you. I mean, for crying out loud, I'm named after the guy. And trust me, as much as I wanted to hate this movie, I still gotta give it props for at least giving it a try, giving it a new lens, which I can, as a film aficionado, if you want to call it, can appreciate. So I'm giving The Crow a 1 out of 5. It feels crazy that Hollywood feels like they can't take a risk with something original and they have to keep going into reboots and remakes and retellings of old stories, original stories. You have the A24 films that seem like they're doing great. So what's stopping you from making original ideas? Beats me, but stop going into this like CW level of movies. Nobody likes them. Check out last week's video talking about Alien Romulus, and in case this movie loving lover boy doesn't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Peace.